Hello and welcome to Paranormal Chronicles. I'm your host, Joe Miranda. Today's episode is The Portal. But before we get started, I want to make it very clear that I'm a sinner and that I'm a flawed man. I give God all the glory. I believe Jesus Christ is my Savior. I renounce Satan. However, I never underestimate his ability to blind minds, eyes, ears, and hearts here on earth. One thing I do want to say, though, before I move into this episode, I'm a big believer in power of protection that God and Jesus Christ give us over negative entities. With that said, I feel very strongly that if you're a agnostic or an atheist, that shouldn't watch this episode. Reason I say that is I'm going to be delving into some subject matter, and I'm going to be showing some photos that I believe warrant protection. So I would say to you, for your own protection, that now would be a good time to go. Now, with that said, January 29th, 2013, remember that date? That was our last episode. That was the same day as the events that happened on the country road. That was an eventful day. January 29th, 2013 through the end of that February had to be one of the most active timelines that I'd ever documented regarding paranormal events and activity. More amazing is that most of those events were intertwined. However, for the purposes of this episode, I'll be focusing on the events that occurred on January 29th, 2013 and on January 31st, 2013. Now, within a few hours after my high school buddy being nearly choked out in his car on that country road, I stopped by a colleague's house. While I was there, his teenage son shared a text he had gotten from his girlfriend earlier that evening. They were two photos his girlfriend had taken in her bedroom mirror to show off her new haircut. Now, what was in those photos defied all explanation. After I looked at the photos, I questioned the son, and he swore up and down that they were authentic and they hadn't been doctored in any way. I told him, good, because I'm going to be reaching out to some people and you could really make me look foolish. So that's why I'm asking you now. He swore they were authentic. I talked to him before I did this episode. And again, I asked him, and he swore they were absolutely authentic. He also said that the events that happened are still vivid to this day in his mind. Well, I knew we had something on our hands. So I was I was really intrigued. So I asked the son to call the girlfriend's mother to see if she would talk with me about the photos. While I was talking to her, she told me that one of the men in the photos resembled her late father, who had died in an auto accident in 1986. The mother also told me her daughter, from a very, very young age, began sensing entities. Believing the daughter may be an empath and seeing that there was definitely something paranormal taking place in that house, I agreed to stop by and investigate. I also told her that I'd cleanse the house if I thought that it was necessary. Later, I texted a copy of the photos to Craig Perry, and he asked me the same thing. He thought that maybe they were photoshopped or something, and I said no, they were not. And he said, "Okay, well, I I can't explain what it is." And I said, "Well, me neither." So the night of the investigation, the girlfriend's mother answered the front door. My colleague's son, the girlfriend, her brother, and the mother's sister were also there. Girlfriend's father was not there. Now, this was significant for a number of reasons, and I'll share all that in an upcoming episode. So stay tuned. It's a teaser. Well, as soon as I stepped into the foyer, I began to hear over and over in my mind's ear, "I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry." Well, I shared this with the group. And then I asked out loud, "Who is this? Who is this saying, 'I'm sorry'?" I heard the name Charles. I shared this with the group as well. Girlfriend's mother and aunt just looked at each other. See, Charles was the name of their late father. The girlfriend's grandfather, who she never met. That's when I told them that this just went from being a paranormal investigation to a house cleansing. Full disclosure, this was my first investigation where I had empirical data because of those photos to support the presence of entities. So I lit up some white sage in a smudge bowl, pulled out some rock salt to throw in the corners of the walls, and I started the cleansing process. I started right at the front door, and I moved along the wall to my right. As I walked along the living room wall, I kept hearing, "Tell my family I'm sorry. Tell them I'm sorry. I'm so, so sorry. Please tell them that." I asked Charles, I said, what has you so troubled? Guess I up to that point, I really didn't understand the meaning of what was in those photographs. Now I could sense Charles was smiling, and I heard, well, since you're willing to help me and my family, call me Charlie. Okay. Charlie told me that an entity in the form of a human man had approached him. It claimed to have overheard him talking about his family. Charlie claimed that the entity tricked him into leading it to his family portal. Didn't know those existed until then. Family portals. That is what's happening in the first photo. When Charlie led the entity to the family portal, it pushed past him. That's what you see in the second photo. Charlie claimed that it blocked him from being able to enter the portal. And since he couldn't get back through the portal, couldn't protect his family. That's what had him so troubled. Now, I have a really important message to share regarding an impression I received shortly after that investigation. That is, family members need to warn their loved ones on the other side, either in prayer or when speaking to them. You must tell them to beware of an entity asking to be shown or led to their family portal because it's a trap. Just like in this case. During that impression, I was also told those in your circle of life or life group will always know the way. They'll never ask. Now, as I continue to make my way through the lower level of the house, Charlie also shared with me that there are rules that govern demonic interference and demonic possession. He told me that these rules typically apply to children until they reach puberty. Those are rules that protect children. Charlie emphasized typically, but he never did say what those exceptions were. Would have been nice to find that out. I worked my way upstairs and through the upstairs rooms. And eventually I was standing in front of the girlfriend's mirror. When I got in front of that mirror, I could sense a negative entity just sneering out at me. It was sneering. I could sense snarling. I shared this with the group. Now, this entity was super stubborn and definitely did not want to leave. I think at some point I even began to mock it, which is something I don't recommend anyone do. You're looking for trouble when you do that. I've learned a lot since then. Now I spent several more minutes cleansing the mirror. I mean, this thing didn't want to go. In fact, I think I may have even called down Archangel Michael to help. As I left the girlfriend's bedroom and headed downstairs, I heard the aunt tell the colleague's son to take another photo of the mirror. I was downstairs in the basement with the girlfriend's mother when I heard the sound of feet racing down the upstairs steps. Colleague's son burst into the room we were in down there, and he was holding out his cell phone. He told us he had taken a picture of the girlfriend's mirror after we left the room. Needless to say, I know I was stunned, and the look on the girlfriend's mother's face when she saw the picture, she was stunned too. What I see when I look at that photo is a monkey face looking demon. I finished cleansing the rest of the house, and then I ushered everyone into the dining room to debrief them regarding cleansing and the investigation. Now, at some point during the debriefing, I told the group that I could sense Charlie standing next to me on my left. And I used my hand to approximate his height. I mean, he towered over me pretty good. And I figured his height to be around 6 feet. When I did that, the two sisters seemed pretty stunned at first, and then confirmed that he was around 6 foot tall. Can I tell you? I could sense him standing there. They almost lost it when I told them he told me to call him Charlie. He told me he only let his friends call him that. The aunt then told me that her and her girlfriend's mother, her sister, her and the sister had gone to see a psychic after Charlie's death to see if they could communicate with him. Charlie told me the psychic was full of crap. That was pretty funny. He used another word, but I didn't have the heart to tell the sisters what he told me. Charlie then told me he knew he was going to die. I just blurted out to the sisters, Charlie just told me he knew he was going to die. The look on their face when I told them that said it all. Told me that one of Charlie's employees approached them at his funeral. The man said Charlie had a premonition he was going to die in an auto accident a month before his death. Confided in this guy. However, I'm happy to report there is a silver lining in all this. A week or so after the cleansing, the girlfriend texted the friend's son another photo that she had taken in her bedroom mirror to show him her new hairstyle. Do you notice how clear the photo of the mirror is compared to the 3 that were taken before the cleansing? Before the cleansing was complete? That green orb you saw in the last photo? It's Charlie's beautiful spirit. That told me Charlie was back and he was watching over his family again. Good for you, Charlie. Good for you.